In her most lowest point, Powder alone in a cell, huddled in a corner, clawing at her cuticles again and again until they bled. Silco's phantom appears and convinces her to end it all. No visiting apparition from her mother, father, Vander, or even Isha, to convince her to live on. I thought maybe the remaining members of Powder's family living in the alternate universes would somehow be brought to Powder's current timeline and some way make a new family, but that was way too much for the writers. No, we can't have that. Let's rush this. Despite the missing dialogue between Powder and Echo, no closure, no reconciliation, just misery, death, and depression for all. They made it so Powder was to be used time and time again to carry Caitlin and give her prominence and a reason to keep the plot going in a certain direction, all the while making Caitlin relevant and critical to the story as the key character. In my opinion, episodes 1 to 6 of Season 2 are brilliant. Unfortunately, episodes 7 to 9 are poorly scripted and executed. They seemed rushed and just ruin what could have been a great season to end with. They do a disservice to the preceding episodes that made Arcane. Sadly, LGBTQ dogma ruined a great story because it failed to bring closure that's befitting to such deep and wonderful characters. Instead, it just doubles down on exploiting Powder's and Vander's miseries and memories time and time again, milking them for all their emotional power, in order to keep the plot moving with Caitlin in the driving seat. I'm not upset, but annoyed that my emotions were being played with in such a despicable manner. Being led by the writers into believing somehow in some way a sense of family would return to Powder and V. I would have rather been more content with Powder being obliterated along with Isha, however tragic I could accept that. But this is just callous and unconscionable. It's a total disregard for memories and sacrifices made by Powder, Vander, and V. No sense of family, only solitude for Echo, and emptiness for V. Vander sacrificed himself, Powder, V, and Echo lost Vander forever. Benzo sacrificed himself, Vander and Echo lost Benzo forever. Isha sacrificed herself, Powder lost Isha forever. Jace sacrificed himself, Mel lost Jace forever. Powder sacrificed herself, Echo and V lost Powder forever. Even Heimerdinger sacrificed himself for all. The writers chose the LGBTQ path and used Powder to elevate and give prominence for Caitlin. All the while they used Powder and our emotions to lure us in. They had no care for her or her meaningful relationships. All they cared about was Caitlin's special rainbow status. In spite of this, V actually cared more about her sister because she remembered what Vander's dying wish was, to look after Powder. If you care about LGBTQ more than sisterhood or family, then obviously you will love the ending. But what has V got now? Just more trauma and no closure, tormented by depression and nightmares. An unconvincing and undeserved ending for all the key characters that enthralled Arcane audiences and made it worth watching, unless you think Caitlin's life was worth the sacrifices of all the characters. This is the hubris of rainbow plot armor. All that effort has come to naught. Powder the writers didn't deserve you, and yes, you were perfect and will always be.